Hi, everyone. This is Tom Parmalee, the founder of FuneralVision.com. And joining me today is John Heald of Legacy.com. Thanks so much for joining me, John.
Thanks, Tom. Good to be with you on a Friday afternoon. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks so much for making the time. John, I think pretty much everyone in funeral service knows who you are, but they may not be aware of some very recent news that you shared. You were recently named the Chief Growth Officer at Legacy.com. Tell us a little bit about that, including what's going to be different about your role moving forward.
Yeah, I've never been a title guy, and it is what it is. Is what I tell others. I still take out the trash, do the laundry, clean the toilets, right? But for all intents, my DNA is funeral service, and I'll have a little bit more responsibility over some of the other channels within the legacy environment, but I just want to make sure that we're taking care of funeral homes first and foremost. And I couldn't be more excited about kind of where we are and where we're going. But yeah, with the title, maybe some more responsibility, but the funeral home channel is where I will remain and continue to hopefully flourish.
That's great to hear. I know people in funeral service are going to love to hear that you're still going to be just as involved as always.
Yeah.
At Legacy.com, I mean, we've seen so many advances with technology and of course, changes in funeral service. What are some of the major opportunities right now that you're seeking to capitalize on at Legacy?
Well, I don't want to call it new, but it's probably new since funeral service. I describe us as the new legacy within the funeral space. And by that, Tom, I mean, historically, well, one of the things that was a challenge for us is that we would publish death notices. Really, one of our missions is just to announce every death that happens in the US. The way in which we are doing that is changing. So about 18 months ago, we decided to stop really that announcement type business. I'll call them death notices. So that the only way that we will announce a death is directly because of partnership that we have with funeral homes, which is over 11,000 and growing. And we launched a business a while back called Legacy Pro, which enables a funeral home to take advantage of having their obits placed on our network for distribution, traffic, participation, and revenue share on e-commerce, and a whole lot more. But we stopped the what funeral homes may refer to as scraping and putting up incomplete notices, and it was just a bad business practice, and we decided to stop it. And one of the things that I'm tasked with is just educating the profession that there is a new legacy. There is significant value in which you have for wanting to work directly with us. But so partnerships with funeral homes for funeral homes that are placing obituaries in the newspapers that we still power, and then direct to consumers. So there's a lot of consumers that are being served annually that aren't given the opportunity to have an obituary for whatever reason, right? But there's opportunities for them to have their obituaries placed on Legacy, providing proper verification. So I'm all about the new Legacy, Tom. We're 18 months old, if you will, but we have a large task ahead of us to continue to educate the profession about what new Legacy is and why they should consider participating if they're not. So long-winded answer of saying the old legacy is gone, but there's a new legacy that's doing so many good things for funeral homes, and I'm proud of it.
Well, interesting to hear about that pivot. And another pivot I imagine you're making is everything revolving around AI or artificial intelligence, which must be an increasingly important part of how you deliver products and services. I know I'm personally using it more and more every day, it seems. Can you walk us through that a little bit in terms of how you're leveraging AI, into your processes and to better serve customers?
Yeah, right. I think it's this phenomenon that's kind of taking over the world, and funeral service is trying to think about how to incorporate it into their business. I'll say for legacy, I think a lot of it has to do with some back office efficiencies. But we've got a public, AI obit writer, if you will, that helps consumers who we know, Tom, that your average consumer only writes one or two obituaries in their lifetime. And given that, they don't know how to do it. They don't know what to say. They don't even know where to begin. So I think the AI tool really helps people take some basic facts and put some tones to it based on what they're looking for and write a story, that they want to have about their loved one, and then how do they share it? So, I know most of the website and technology companies out there have incorporated AI obit writing assistants in their back end so that the funeral homes can take advantage of it, take their work product, perhaps enhance it. But there's still a good, I would say, the significant amount of obits being written are still, done templated in a Word document, copy and paste. But I think as we get more and more comfortable with the tool, it's going to allow for just some really well-written life stories to be shared and told not only at the funeral home website, but across any distribution channel that they want. And I look at Legacy as we really are a distribution channel for funeral service and consumers in wanting to help them tell the stories of loved ones that have passed away. I'll share with you that I'm in Washington, D.C. I just went to the wreath laying at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldiers. But there's a lot of activity happening in DC, and that's why you'll hear the police and sirens. So forgive me for that. But AI is fascinating. Back office efficiencies, I think, are the number one priority, not only within Legacy and all of our companies, but funeral homes and tech companies that support this channel.
Now, a sister company, if you will, of Legacy is Tukios, Curtis Funk and his team over there. Can you share with us a little bit about how you two work together, and how that relationship is progressing and what it's like?
Yeah. They happen to be like probably my favorite company in funeral service, and this isn't because they're a sister company. I've always admired what Curtis has done in terms of when he started. The funeral home first mentality, features, functionality, and product are all built with the funeral home in mind to help the families that they're serving. So, we continue to operate independently, but where we can find ways to drive additional value for funeral homes together, we have done that and we will continue to do it. So we've got, I would say, arguably the best integration with a website company with Tukios, because of all of the integration that we've done. They're getting some preferential treatment in terms of SEO, backlinks, some ideas and opportunities around the floral program that exists within the Tukios world that if they're in the legacy environment, we can drive them there. But there's a lot of integration that we've done that there is no better program set up for funeral homes if you've got a Tukios website to take advantage of the legacy network in funeral service. So we will continue to drive some of those features and functionality. But I just think the mentality that has been so ingrained in that Tukios environment, in the culture, and the way all of the people that work there have funeral homes first has benefited Legacy and really spilled over to our organization to have that similar mentality and really a partner first, right? Because we've got newspapers, consumers, and funeral homes, and if we do that with that mindset, the end consumer is going to be benefited by that. So we operate independently, but where there are synergies, we make sure we're capitalizing on that.
Now, I know you don't make these decisions on your own, but might you make additional acquisitions in the funeral home space, if the right opportunity comes along in the future, or is that something you're not looking at?
Yeah, potentially, right? And I don't think we're different than your funeral home operator, where if there's a business that comes, by, or one that they think would make the right sense to help them grow their business, they're certainly going to look at it and do it. So the answer is absolutely yes. And if it expands our ability to serve our partners, we want to do that. I think one of the interesting things, well, so that's from the funeral home side, but Legacy at large is a consumer-facing organization. I think there's opportunities that if there are bolt-ons that again help funeral homes, newspapers, consumers, that we would certainly want to look at it. But one of the things that I think we're focused on is that um, we hear the market talk about how less people are coming to funerals, which is concerning as a funeral director, right? Our best form of marketing is having people come through our front doors, right? And short of that, how do we get them to our front doors? And one of the things that we have stood up in the last, I don't know, 18, 24 months are this concept around communities and our ability to be a hyper local source for uh, consumers who are looking for obits. And an example of that, Tom, is that we've stood up community pages around high schools, colleges, and just local market areas so that I'm interested in hearing about people that I went to college with that may have passed away, or high school, or in the town that I grew up in, Shrewsbury, Massachusetts. I want to stay informed. So we've stood up these community pages that allows users to get emails every single day with their profiles set up that they want to be notified about people that have died. The benefit to the funeral homes that is those are the ones who are supplying the obits. That branding and that funeral home comes along for the ride from start to finish. So our ability to really make users aware that someone's passed away is on the forefront, and we're going to continue to expand upon the communities that we're providing. But one of the challenges that we get or we hear is that, we compete with traffic. And I think if we can um, build or deliver new traffic that these community pages offer, that we are absolutely complementary, supplemental, incremental to the traffic that funeral home websites get when they announce a death. I am reminded of Dave McComb, who always says, funeral homes are the newsroom when someone dies, and he's right. So our ability is just to supplement that with these community-like pages so that when someone learns of a death, can we get them to be to do something? And if it's literally to acknowledge something on the website, great. But perhaps because they're aware, can they attend the funeral? And we'd love to be able to get more and more people to services at the funeral because that's what they do best day in and day out. So there's a lot happening, but there's a lot of momentum and energy around communities and just making sure that no one goes unaware of someone that passes away.
Now, getting away from legacy for just a second, you have been quite involved for several years with the Funeral Service Foundation. What's your current role there, and what can funeral professionals out there, do to support your mission and what you're trying to do at the foundation?
Yeah, so I'm currently chair of the Funeral Service Foundation, and I've said personally and professionally, it's the best thing I've done in my career. It's just been such a rewarding organization to be a part of, and the foundation does so much to give back to our profession that has provided, a wonderful career for so many. But actually, in fact, I'm here in DC because this week is Meet the Mentors, where the foundation has granted 25 scholarships for students to come down and hear from other colleagues in funeral service. So this week they heard from Tim Schramm of Howell Peterson, Lori Greenlaw, Sheeler from St. Pierre Family Funeral Homes in Indianapolis, and Dr. Camille Clark, who just shared with them their life experiences that relates to funeral service. And it was fascinating to just sit back and attend, but then to be there present and listen as to what these young and sometimes second career students in funeral service are all about. So the Funeral Service Foundation does a lot in terms of giving back, scholarships, helping communities that are grieving, providing resources for funeral homes to provide families like when a child dies is an award-winning piece. And we do that through, a lot of fundraising activity, but, it's our goal to give back everything that we generate in terms of those activities. And the board is just comprised of some amazing people in funeral service, and quite honestly humbled to just to be a part of it, and excited to have the chair role, but also excited to pass it to Jeff Smith in October. So uh, humbled and grateful.
Well, Jeff is going to have some big shoes to fill, coming after you. You've done an incredible job. Will you be at ICCFA? Will you have a booth there, walking the floor? Any thoughts on the convention coming up?
All of the above. I can't wait. I look forward to it. It's a great organization, and it's great because it's a little bit different than maybe perhaps what NFDA may have, although there's a lot of crossover, but such a great convention, great board, great leadership. So we are there. We're going to have a booth, not only for Legacy. I know Tukios will be there, the foundation. So we're always looking forward to uh, what Vegas brings, and then what ICC at CFA has to offer all of those who attend. And it's just, these events are such a great opportunity for us to come together and see what's new, network, learn, right, for all the breakout sessions, keynote speakers, and it's a wonderful thing that ICCFA continues to do, and a lot of collaboration. And I'm excited because we've got some new folks at Legacy, so they've got an opportunity to come in and see what this profession is all about, and really just learn, ingest, and then see what is it that we're missing that we need to start to incorporate and potentially trying to continue to deliver value in terms of products and services within funeral service. And I'll say this, Tom, and as the new Legacy, and I've got a big task ahead of me, right, in making sure that 21,000 plus or minus funeral homes hear about what this new offering is, and that we're not scraping obits, and that there's significant value that we can, should you be willing to want to learn and participate, has to offer. And we do it because of ICCFA and NFDA and Selected Independent, OGR, anyone that really participates and wants to go out and continue to learn. We're there, we're present. If you can't find us, I think everyone knows where or how to find me. So always welcome conversations.
Well, John, as someone who has worked with you for, geez, about 20 years now, I think they've picked the right man for the job. Congratulations on your promotion. Look forward to seeing you at ICCFA. And thanks so much for joining me today.
Yeah, and thank you, Tom. You've got a great reputation. You do great things in funeral service. I think I can say congratulations on being back full time in funeral service. I know the profession at large is welcome to have you back, and look forward to continuing to collaborate with you in your new role, and really what you've done and continue to do. So thank you.
Thanks so much. See you in Vegas, John.
Yeah, thank you, Tom.